She lived in a small apartment in the heart of the city. The building was old and the walls were thin, but she loved it because it felt like her own little world. Every morning, she woke up early to prepare for her job at a busy cafe downtown. The job was exhausting. She spent hours on her feet, taking orders, carrying heavy trays, and making sure every customer was satisfied. Her coworkers often told her she was too serious, that she should relax more, but she couldn't. She had responsibilities. Her family depended on her, and she took pride in that. Despite the hard work, she never complained. She believed that no matter how small her efforts seemed, they were important. After her shifts, she would walk home slowly, sometimes stopping at a small park to rest and watch the city lights flicker on. It was in those quiet moments that she allowed herself to dream. Music had always been her escape. She loved the sound of her own voice, the way it could carry her feelings when words alone were not enough. She didn't have formal training, but she didn't care. Singing made her feel alive. Every night, she would close the apartment door behind her and take out her old keyboard from the corner of the room. She had saved up enough money to buy it a few years ago, and it was one of her most treasured possessions. She would play softly at first, her fingers moving carefully across the keys. Then she would sing, letting her emotions flow freely. She sang about life, about struggle, about hope. Sometimes she imagined an audience, people listening and connecting with her words. Though she had never performed for anyone beyond her small circle of friends, her friends encouraged her, telling her that she had a gift, that her voice deserved to be heard by more people. But she often doubted herself. She wondered if anyone would really care, if her dreams were too big for someone like her. She grew up in a neighborhood where most people worked hard just to get by. Dreams were considered luxuries, not necessities. She didn't have the connections or the money to make her way into the music industry. Every day, she fought against these thoughts, telling herself that persistence mattered more than talent alone. Still, the fear of failure lingered. Meanwhile, a man in the entertainment world was unaware of her quiet determination. He was a producer, someone who had seen many hopefuls come and go. He prided himself on his instincts, his ability to judge talent quickly and decisively. One afternoon, he stumbled upon a short video of her singing, shared online by someone who had seen her perform at a small local event. He watched, and without much thought, he dismissed her talent. Her voice was pleasant, he thought, but she lacked stage presence, charisma, and that spark he looked for in performers. In his mind, she was another amateur, someone who wouldn't make it on a bigger stage. His dismissal wasn't harsh or cruel. It was casual, almost indifferent. But it planted a seed of doubt that would follow her in the days to come. She had no idea that her quiet practice sessions caught the attention of someone influential. She went about her life as usual, balancing work and her music, unaware of the wider world watching from afar. Some days were harder than others. The cafe was busy, customers could be rude, and she often had to smile through exhaustion. She learned to find small joys in the routine, a kind word from a regular customer, a laugh shared with a colleague. Those moments reminded her that even the smallest victories mattered. She was building resilience, quiet strength that she didn't yet understand would one day carry her onto a much larger stage. Her family noticed her dedication. They didn't always understand her passion for music, but they supported her. Her younger sibling would sometimes sneak into her room, asking her to sing a song. She always obliged, smiling and singing softly, feeling a warmth that made all the long hours worth it. It was these small connections, the laughter and encouragement, that gave her the courage to keep going. She began to believe that maybe, just maybe, her music could reach beyond her tiny apartment walls. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, she sat on the edge of her bed with her keyboard. The apartment was quiet, the city lights casting soft shadows across the room. She closed her eyes and let the music take over. Her fingers moved instinctively, playing chords she had known by heart for years. Then she sang, pouring every ounce of emotion into her voice. The sound filled the room, echoing off the walls, a private concert for herself. She thought about her dreams, about the idea of performing in front of people who had never met her. It seemed impossible, yet the thought didn't scare her. It excited her at the same time. The producer remained unaware that this quiet woman in a small apartment could change the way he viewed talent. He went about his day, meeting clients, attending auditions, and making decisions with the confidence of someone who had seen it all. But life has a way of surprising even the most confident people. The young woman's moment was coming. A moment that would test not only her skills, but also the prejudices of those who underestimated her. She continued her routine, working, practicing, dreaming. Each day was a step forward, though she didn't know how far the path would take her. She learned to find strength in solitude, to turn her doubts into motivation rather than despair. Music became her anchor, a reminder that she was capable of more than she had ever allowed herself to believe. Her story was not about sudden fame or instant recognition. It was about quiet perseverance. It's about the courage to keep going when no one was watching. Friends and coworkers occasionally asked her if she would ever try to perform in front of a larger audience. She would smile and nod, saying she hoped one day. In her heart she felt ready, but the fear of rejection was always present. She knew the world could be harsh, that not everyone would appreciate her efforts. Yet she also knew that giving up was not an option. The small victories of daily life, the encouragement of those who truly cared, and the power of her own voice gave her a sense of purpose that no doubt could shake as she prepared for another evening of practice. She felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. Something in the air hinted at change, though she couldn't have explained it. Little did she know, her life was on the verge of shifting in ways she had never imagined. The stage she dreamed of was closer than she thought, and the person who doubted her would soon witness a performance that would leave him speechless. But for now, she focused on what mattered most: the music, her dreams. In the quiet determination that had carried her this far, life continued its usual rhythm. But with every passing day, the young woman felt a growing restlessness. Her work at the cafe remained demanding, leaving her exhausted by evening. But music was a constant source of energy and comfort. She had dreams she didn't speak aloud, partly out of fear and partly out of humility. The idea of performing on a bigger stage was thrilling, yet terrifying. Some days, she doubted her ability to ever make it, wondering if her voice, though heartfelt, could truly move others. Her neighborhood was full of hardworking people, many of whom had abandoned their dreams in favor of stability. She often thought about them and felt a mixture of empathy and sadness. They were not failures. They had chosen survival over ambition, and she respected that. Still, she longed for more. The longing was quiet, a constant hum in her heart. A reminder that she wanted something bigger than her small apartment and the cafe counter. She knew it would require courage, persistence, and a willingness to risk failure, but she felt ready, even if she couldn't yet see the path clearly. Meanwhile, the man who had seen her online clip was unaware that her life was about to intersect with his in a way that would challenge his judgment. He was busy, surrounded by talented performers and aspiring artists. He was confident in his decisions, believing he could easily separate those with true potential from those who were merely chasing illusions. He dismissed her performance without a second thought, never imagining that the person in the video could one day leave him speechless. Despite his opinion, she carried on, unaware of the eyes watching from afar. Her days were filled with repetition, yet she found small moments of joy. A kind word from a customer, a genuine smile from a colleague, a familiar tune that reminded her of happier times. All these moments sustained her. She had learned to treasure simple victories, to celebrate tiny successes, and to keep hope alive even when life felt heavy. These small, consistent acts of resilience were quietly preparing her for something much larger. Friends and family continued to support her. They listened patiently when she sang in the evenings, offering encouragement without pressuring her. Her younger sibling's admiration was particularly meaningful. Each time her sibling asked her to sing a song, she felt a warmth and motivation that no amount of fatigue could diminish. These connections reminded her why she loved music and why she kept striving for something greater. Even when obstacles seemed insurmountable, she faced doubts, both from herself and from others. Sometimes, She overheard conversations at the cafe that questioned her choices, wondering why she spent so much time on music when practical work was necessary. She absorbed these doubts silently, but refused to let them dictate her future. Each day, she made a conscious decision to practice, to sing, and to nurture her dreams quietly. It was a test of endurance, patience, and belief in herself. As she prepared for another evening of practice, she felt a growing determination. She experimented with new melodies, explored different emotions in her songs, and pushed herself beyond her comfort zone. She recorded herself on a small phone camera, watching her performance with a critical eye. She noticed imperfections, but she also saw progress, and that was encouraging. Every chord, every note, and every lyric became a step forward. It wasn't about instant recognition. It was about consistent growth, about building the confidence and skill that would one day shine in front of a larger audience. Life outside. Her apartment continued at its usual pace. The cafe was bustling with activity, the city streets noisy and alive, and yet within her, there was a quiet storm of ambition. She imagined what it would be like to stand on a stage, to see the faces of an audience as they listened to her music, to feel the energy and connection that only live performance could bring. The thought exhilarated her, and, at the same time, made her anxious. She understood that performing live required more than talent. It required courage, resilience, and the ability to face judgment with grace. Her perseverance didn't go unnoticed in small ways. Occasionally, someone would compliment her singing in the cafe, telling her that she had a beautiful voice or that her music brightened their day. These small affirmations were precious. They reminded her that her efforts mattered, even if the recognition was limited to a few people in her immediate surroundings. Every kind word fueled her determination, reinforcing the belief that she could pursue bigger opportunities without abandoning the love she felt for music. Meanwhile, the producer remained focused on other performers, convinced he had seen all that mattered. He continued attending auditions, meeting with talented individuals, making quick judgments based on first impressions. Confidence was his shield, and skepticism his lens. He believed that those who could not immediately impress him would never succeed. Yet, life has a way of challenging assumptions, and his misjudgment would soon become a lesson in humility. The young woman's life was a delicate balance between work, music, and self-belief. She learned to manage her time carefully, ensuring that neither her responsibilities nor her dreams were neglected. Her days were long and exhausting, but each evening, when she sat before her keyboard and sang, she felt renewed. Music was not just a pastime. It was a lifeline, a way to process her emotions and to express herself in a world that often demanded practicality over passion. Her journey was also about emotional growth. She learned patience, understanding that talent alone was not enough. She observed people around her, noting their struggles, their triumphs, and the quiet determination that often went unnoticed. These observations deepened her empathy and strengthened her resolve. She realized that success was not a destination, but a journey, a series of steps taken with courage, persistence, and humility. As days turned into weeks, she began to entertain the possibility of auditions beyond her local neighborhood. She researched opportunities, watched videos of past performers, and imagined herself in their place. The idea of performing live on television was daunting, yet thrilling. She knew that stepping out of her comfort zone was necessary if she wanted to grow, and she began to mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. The thought of facing someone like the producer, who had dismissed her online, made her nervous, but also motivated her. She wanted to prove, above all else, to herself that she was capable. Even as doubt lingered, she focused on what she could control. She practiced diligently, experimented with new techniques, and refined her performances in private. Each evening became a small rehearsal for the larger stage she dreamed of. She wrote lyrics that spoke of hope and struggle, melodies that carried emotion and energy, and harmonies that reflected her inner strength. Music became her teacher, guiding her through fear, uncertainty, and self-doubt. Her family continued to provide encouragement, offering practical advice and emotional support. They understood the importance of persistence and the value of chasing dreams, even when the path seemed unclear. Their belief in her abilities bolstered her own confidence, reminding her that she was not alone in her journey. The bond with her family was a source of strength, grounding her when challenges felt overwhelming. One evening, as she was practicing, she paused and reflected on her journey so far. She realized that the obstacles she had faced, the long hours at work, the doubts from herself and others had all shaped her into a stronger, more determined person. She understood that talent alone was not enough. Resilience, dedication, and the willingness to face fear were equally important. This realization filled her with a renewed sense of purpose. She was ready to take the next step, to embrace opportunities that might test her in ways she had never imagined. She continued to live her life with quiet determination, knowing that her moment would come. The producer, still unaware of her growing potential, remained confident in his judgments. The stage she dreamed of was approaching, and soon their worlds would intersect in a way that would challenge his assumptions and highlight her perseverance. For now, she focused on her music, her growth, and the belief that dedication, patience, and authenticity could overcome doubt and fear. Her story in these days was not marked by fame or recognition, but by effort, growth, and resilience. Every practice session, every moment of doubt overcome, every song sung with sincerity was a step forward. She understood that success was built on small, consistent actions, and that her journey was as important as any destination. Music had given her a purpose and a path, and she walked it with determination. Ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, the day of the live TV performance arrived, and the young woman woke up early with a mixture of excitement and nerves. Her apartment felt unusually quiet that morning, as if the city itself was holding its breath in anticipation. She went through her usual routine, but every action seemed sharper, more deliberate. The moments of doubt she had carried with her for years were still present, but they were now accompanied by a new force: determination. She had prepared as best as she could. She was ready to give herself completely to the stage. At the cafe, she said goodbye to her coworkers with a bright smile, hiding the nervous flutter in her stomach. They wished her luck, their words kind, but unable to fully grasp the magnitude of what she was about to face. Every small interaction on the way to the studio seemed significant, each step bringing her closer to a dream she had nurtured quietly for so long. The city's streets buzzed with the usual energy. Unaware of the life-changing moment about to unfold in a TV studio just blocks away. The studio itself was immense, filled with lights, cameras, and technicians moving swiftly to prepare for the live broadcast. She walked in and felt the weight of the space pressing down on her. It was unlike anything she had ever experienced. The producers and crew moved with precision, speaking in rapid tones, and she felt momentarily out of place. But she reminded herself that this was exactly where she belonged. She had worked for this moment, and nothing could take it away from her. The man who had dismissed her earlier watched from the judge's seat, a confident smile on his face. He had no idea how wrong he would soon be. He assumed she would be another performer who failed to connect with the audience, someone who would falter under pressure. His mind was filled with judgments formed from a brief online clip. Yet he didn't realize that the young woman before him carried years of quiet practice, resilience, and emotional depth that could not be captured in a short video. Backstage, she felt her heart race as she waited for her turn. The other performers moved around her, each preparing in their own way, some stretching, others humming quietly. She focused on her breathing, recalling the countless evenings spent practicing alone, the small victories that had kept her going. She imagined herself on stage, not just performing, but sharing a part of her soul with everyone watching. That thought steadied her nerves, reminding her that this was more than just a performance. It was an opportunity to be fully herself. When her name was called, she walked toward the stage, each step filled with both fear and anticipation. The bright lights made it difficult to see the audience clearly, but she could feel their presence, their attention. The cameras followed her every move, capturing her expressions, her emotions, and her connection to the music. She took a deep breath, placed her hands on the microphone, and began to sing. From the very first note, something remarkable happened. Her voice, shaped by years of practice and life experience, carried emotion and sincerity that resonated with everyone present. The audience went quiet, captivated by the raw authenticity of her performance. She was not just singing. She was telling a story through music, conveying the struggles, hopes, and dreams that had defined her life. Each note, each pause, each inflection held meaning, creating a powerful connection between her and the listeners. The man who had doubted her watched, his expression slowly changing. He had expected mediocrity, perhaps even embarrassment, but what he saw was extraordinary. She commanded the stage effortlessly, using her voice to reach into the hearts of everyone watching. His confident judgment faltered as he realized that the online clip had not done justice to her talent. He had underestimated her completely. She was not just a performer. She was an artist, and the stage was where she belonged. As the performance continued, the energy in the studio grew. Cameras captured the reactions of the audience, the judges, and even the crew members who had momentarily stopped to watch. There was a sense of awe in the air, a collective recognition that something special was happening. Her emotions flowed freely through the music, carrying a message of perseverance, resilience, and hope. Every person watching could feel the authenticity, the depth of experience behind her voice. Backstage, her friends and family, who had come to support her, watched with tears in their eyes. They were proud not just of the performance, but of the journey she had undertaken to reach this moment. They had seen her struggles, her dedication, and her quiet determination. And now the world was witnessing what they had always known. She was extraordinary. The emotions in the room were palpable, a mix of joy, admiration, deep respect. The performance was not about perfection. It was about connection. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, sharing her story without fear of judgment. The audience responded in kind, their attention unwavering, their emotions stirred. The notes carried weight, the lyrics held meaning, and the rhythm echoed the heartbeat of someone who had fought silently for years. Every gesture, every expression, every sound was intentional. A testament to the hours spent honing her craft and nurturing her passion. As the final note lingered in the air, there was a moment of profound silence. The studio seemed suspended in time, as if the world was taking a collective breath, acknowledging the power of what had just occurred. Then, slowly, the applause began. At first it was hesitant, tentative, but it grew steadily, building into a wave of appreciation that filled the space. Judges stood, audience members clapped, and the crew watched in awe. She had not only met expectations, she had surpassed them, creating a moment that would be remembered by all who witnessed it. The man who had doubted her remained seated, stunned. His speechless expressions spoke volumes. He had been wrong in his assumptions, completely unprepared for the depth and authenticity of her performance. The confidence he had once carried was replaced by humility, a recognition that talent cannot always be measured by appearances or brief encounters. He realized that true artistry comes from within, from the experiences, emotions, and perseverance that shape a person over time. She stepped off the stage, feeling a mixture of relief, exhilaration, and accomplishment. Her body was tired, her heart was racing, but her spirit was soaring. She had faced her fears, embraced the challenge, and shared a part of herself with the world. The experience was transformative, not just for the audience or the man who doubted her, but for herself. She had proven, most importantly, that her dedication, resilience, and authenticity could create something extraordinary. Back in the dressing room, she allowed herself a moment to reflect. The journey to this stage had been long and difficult, filled with doubt, hard work, and sacrifice. Yet, every challenge, every practice session, every moment of uncertainty had led to this defining experience. She realized that the performance was not the culmination of her journey, but a milestone, a point of transformation that would guide her toward even greater opportunities. Her friends and family embraced her, their pride and joy evident in their expressions. They celebrated not just the performance, but the courage it took to step into the spotlight. They had witnessed years of quiet effort and determination, and now the world had seen it too. Their support, love, and belief in her abilities had been instrumental in helping her reach this moment, and she acknowledged it with gratitude. The young woman understood that the impact of this performance would extend far beyond the studio. Viewers at home would connect with the authenticity and emotion she conveyed, inspired by her perseverance and talent. The experience would open doors, create new opportunities, and provide a platform for her voice to reach even more people. She felt a sense of purpose and responsibility, recognizing that her music could influence, comfort, and inspire others in ways she had only imagined as she left the studio that night. She felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The streets of the city seemed brighter, the sounds more vibrant, and the possibilities endless. She had faced doubt, fear, and uncertainty, and had emerged stronger, more confident, and more connected to her true self. The journey was far from over, but she had taken a significant step forward, proving that dedication, resilience, and authenticity could overcome even the most entrenched skepticism. She walked home slowly, reflecting on the events of the day. Every moment, every note, every reaction had left an imprint on her heart. She thought about the man who had doubted her, not with resentment, but with understanding that his doubt had been a part of her journey. His disbelief had challenged her, motivated her, and ultimately made her triumph even sweeter. She realized that sometimes the opinions of others, even negative ones, could serve as catalysts for growth and self-discovery. In the quiet of her apartment, she allowed herself to relax and absorb the magnitude of what had just happened. The journey had been long, but she had reached a point where her dreams and reality intersected. The performance was not just an achievement, it was a testament to her resilience, dedication, and unwavering belief in herself. It was a reminder that true success is measured not just by recognition, but by the courage to pursue one's passions despite obstacles and doubt. That night, as she closed her eyes, she felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. She had faced one of the most challenging moments of her life and had emerged victorious. Her story was still unfolding, but she had proven to herself and to the world that she was capable of extraordinary things. The journey ahead was full of potential, and she was ready to embrace it with the same courage, determination, and authenticity that had carried her to this moment. As the applause continued to echo in the studio, she stepped back from the stage, her body still trembling with adrenaline. The sound of clapping and cheering filled her ears, but it was the expressions on the faces around her that struck her most. People were smiling, some with tears in their eyes, and the energy of the room seemed almost tangible. She had always dreamed of this moment, but experiencing it was far more powerful than she had imagined. Every note she had sung, every emotion she had poured into her music, had connected with those listening in ways she could not have predicted. The judges approached her, their expressions a mix of admiration and surprise. One of them, who was known for being particularly critical, smiled warmly and praised her authenticity and emotional depth. The others echoed similar sentiments, highlighting her ability to convey her personal story through music and her remarkable stage presence. She listened quietly, grateful for the recognition, but more aware than ever that this was not the end of her journey, only a new beginning. Back in the audience, the man who had doubted her earlier was still processing what he had witnessed. His usual confident demeanor had vanished, replaced by something he rarely experienced. He had expected a simple, perhaps awkward performance, yet she had delivered something extraordinary. Her voice, her emotion, and the way she had owned the stage left him speechless. For the first time, he realized that his previous assumptions had been completely wrong. He felt a deep respect for her, for the courage she had shown, and for the undeniable talent that had shone through every note. As the camera panned to the audience, viewers at home were also reacting. Social media began buzzing almost instantly, with messages of praise and admiration pouring in. People shared clips, commented on her voice, and expressed their surprise at the depth of her performance. Some recounted personal experiences of feeling overlooked or underestimated, seeing in her story a reflection of their own struggles. It was clear that her performance had reached beyond entertainment. It had touched hearts and inspired people to believe in themselves, even in the face of doubt. She returned to the dressing room, where her friends and family awaited her. Their eyes were filled with pride, and their smiles were wide. They embraced her, each hug carrying words of encouragement and admiration. Her sibling was particularly excited, jumping up and down with joy, insisting on hearing the song again. Their reactions reminded her that her journey had always been about more than just recognition. It was about connection, support, and the love that had guided her throughout her life. The man who had doubted her approached her quietly, a thoughtful expression on his face. He did not offer excuses or apologies. Instead, he simply acknowledged her talent and the courage it took to perform under such intense pressure. His respect was evident, and she accepted it graciously. The moment was not about victory over anyone else, but about mutual recognition of effort, talent, and perseverance. She realized that true respect often comes not from agreement, but from acknowledgement of what someone has achieved despite obstacles and doubt. As she prepared to leave the studio, she reflected on the journey that had led her here. The long hours at the cafe, the countless evenings of practice, the moments of self-doubt and perseverance all had shaped her into the person who could now stand on this stage with confidence. She understood that her success was not measured solely by applause or social media reactions, but by the growth she had experienced, the strength she had gained, and the courage she had found within herself, outside the studio. The city continued its rhythm, unaware of the extraordinary events that had just unfolded within. She walked through the streets slowly, feeling the cool evening air on her face and allowing herself to absorb the significance of the day. Each step felt lighter, freer, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She had faced a moment that many dream of but few experience, and she had emerged not just unscathed, but transformed. Her story began to spread organically. Local news outlets picked up the performance, praising her authenticity and the emotional power of her voice. Social media platforms amplified the moment, and soon messages of support and admiration came from all over the country. People resonated with her journey, seeing in her story a testament to the power of perseverance and the value of staying true to oneself despite obstacles and doubt. The young woman realized that her performance had become more than an individual achievement. It was a shared experience that inspired and uplifted others in the days following the broadcast. She received invitations to perform at various events, both locally and nationally. The opportunities were overwhelming, but she approached each one with thoughtfulness and care. She understood that each performance carried responsibility, that every stage was a chance to connect with people, to inspire them, and to share a piece of her journey. Her approach was not about chasing fame, but about embracing the chance to make a positive impact through her music. The man who had doubted her continued to follow her journey closely. He offered guidance and support when appropriate, recognizing that her talent and determination could not be ignored. His earlier skepticism had transformed into respect and mentorship, demonstrating that even those who initially underestimate others can become allies and supporters. When they witnessed genuine dedication and skill, the relationship evolved into one of mutual understanding, built on recognition of effort, perseverance, and shared appreciation for artistry. Her friends and family remained central to her experience, providing stability, encouragement, and grounding. They reminded her of the importance of humility, kindness, and staying connected to the people who had supported her from the beginning. Their presence was a constant reminder that success is not only about public recognition. Values and integrity amidst newfound opportunities and attention. As she continued to perform and grow in her career, she remained committed to authenticity. She understood that talent alone was not enough. Sincerity, dedication, and emotional connection were what truly resonated with people. She crafted each performance with care, ensuring that her music remained a reflection of her personal journey, her struggles, and her triumphs. Her goal was to inspire and uplift, to create a space where others could feel understood, seen, and encouraged to pursue their own dreams. The journey was not without challenges. Balancing increased public attention with personal life, managing the pressure of expectations, and navigating opportunities that required careful decision-making were all part of her experience. Yet, she approached these challenges with the same resilience and thoughtful determination that had guided her throughout her life. Each obstacle became an opportunity to learn, grow, and strengthen her commitment to her craft and her values. Through it all, she never forgot the lessons learned during her quiet years of preparation. The long hours of practice, the moments of doubt, and the perseverance required to overcome obstacles had instilled in her a sense of discipline, patience, and self-belief that remained invaluable. These lessons continued to inform her approach to music, relationships, and life, reminding her that true growth often comes from consistent effort and the willingness to embrace challenges. Her story became a source of inspiration for many who had faced similar struggles. People wrote to her, sharing their own journeys of doubt, perseverance, and self-discovery. They expressed gratitude for her example, noting that her courage had encouraged them to pursue their own dreams and believe in their potential. She realized that her performance had created ripples far beyond her immediate experience, touching lives in ways she had never anticipated. In private moments, she reflected on the man who had doubted her. She felt no bitterness, only understanding and respect. His doubt had been part of the path that led her to this moment, a reminder that external skepticism can sometimes fuel internal determination. She had proven, not only to him but to herself, that resilience, dedication, and authenticity could overcome even the most entrenched disbelief. As she looked toward the future, she embraced both the opportunities and responsibilities that came with her growing recognition. She approached each new stage, interview, and performance with thoughtfulness, ensuring that her actions reflected her values and the journey that had brought her this far. She understood that influence and recognition were tools to inspire and uplift others, and she was committed to using them wisely and responsibly. Through it all, she remained grounded, remembering the quiet days spent practicing alone, the small victories, and the moments of doubt she had overcome. These experiences had shaped her character, resilience, and approach to life, providing a foundation that could withstand the pressures of public attention and success. She moved forward with confidence, not arrogance, knowing that her journey was a testament to the power of perseverance, authenticity, and self-belief. Her life had changed in profound ways, but she continued to prioritize the elements that had always been important: connection, sincerity, and personal growth. Music remained at the center of her life, a source of joy, expression, and purpose. She remained committed to sharing her voice, her story, and her experiences with others, creating a legacy built not just on talent, but on heart dedication and the courage to follow her dreams. Despite doubt and uncertainty, her life after the live TV performance felt like stepping into a new world. The applause and recognition she had experienced in the studio had been powerful, but it was the ongoing connection with people beyond the stage that truly transformed her. Messages poured in from viewers inspired by her story, from people who felt seen and understood because she had shared a part of her heart through music. She read each message carefully, feeling a mixture of gratitude and responsibility. Her voice had become more than a way to express herself. It had become a bridge to others, a way to touch lives and offer hope. Opportunities began to arrive one after another. She was invited to perform at concerts, charity events, and community gatherings. Every invitation was a chance to connect, to inspire, and to continue her journey of growth. While the attention was exciting, she remained grounded, remembering the long hours of practice, the doubts she had overcome, and the quiet determination that had carried her through years of preparation. She approached each new stage with a mixture of humility and confidence, understanding that each performance was a responsibility and an opportunity to share a meaningful message through her music. Her family and friends continued to play a central role in her life. They offered encouragement, celebrated her successes, and reminded her to stay true to herself. They had witnessed her journey from the beginning, the moments of struggle, the quiet victories, and the relentless dedication, and their support had been instrumental in her growth. Their presence kept her grounded, ensuring that the recognition and attention she received did not overshadow the values and relationships that mattered most. The man who had doubted her watched her rise with a mixture of pride and admiration. His initial skepticism had transformed into respect and support, and he began offering guidance when appropriate, helping her navigate opportunities without compromising her authenticity. Their relationship evolved into one of mutual respect, built on recognition of effort, perseverance, and the power of genuine talent. He had underestimated her at first, but her resilience and skill had taught him a lesson he would not forget: that true potential cannot always be measured at first glance. As she performed at more events, she noticed the effect her music had on people. Some cried, some smiled, and others found the courage to share their own stories. She realized that her journey was no longer just about personal success. It was about impact. Her music had the power to inspire, to uplift, and to connect. She began to see each performance not only as an opportunity to showcase her talent, but also as a chance to bring hope and encouragement to others who had faced doubt or adversity. Despite the increasing public attention, she remained focused on her craft. She continued to practice daily, exploring new techniques, refining her voice, and writing songs that reflected her personal experiences and the emotions she wanted to convey. She understood that growth and consistency were essential, and she approached each day with the same dedication and care that had guided her through years of preparation. Talent alone was not enough. Resilience, discipline, and authenticity were equally important in sustaining her success and impact. Her journey also inspired others around her. Friends, family, and even strangers began to pursue their own passions with renewed determination. They shared stories of overcoming doubt, taking risks, and following dreams they had once considered impossible. She became a symbol of hope and perseverance, demonstrating that consistent effort, belief in oneself, and authenticity could transform not only individual lives but also the lives of others. The challenges of this new phase of life were not insignificant. Balancing public attention, performance opportunities, and personal growth required careful planning and emotional resilience. She faced decisions about which projects to pursue, how to maintain her integrity, and how to use her growing influence responsibly. Each choice required reflection, patience, and a commitment to her values. She approached these challenges thoughtfully, understanding that success was not just about visibility or recognition, but also about making a positive impact and staying true to herself through it all. She never forgot the quiet moments of her past, the evenings spent practicing alone, the hours working at the cafe, the small victories that had sustained her. These memories were a source of strength, reminding her of the perseverance and dedication that had carried her to this point. They grounded her, ensuring that she remained connected to the person she had been and the values she had always held dear. As her career progressed, she began mentoring aspiring performers who faced doubt and adversity. She shared her experiences, offering guidance, encouragement, and insight into the importance of perseverance, authenticity, and hard work. She understood the challenges of starting from humble beginnings and the fear of failure that often accompanies ambition. By sharing her journey, she empowered others to believe in themselves, to embrace opportunities, and to pursue their dreams with courage and dedication. Her influence extended beyond music. She participated in community initiatives, charitable events, and programs designed to inspire young people to pursue their passions. She used her platform responsibly, demonstrating that success is not just about personal achievement but also about contributing to the well-being and growth of others. Her story became a testament to the power of resilience, authenticity, and the ability to turn doubt into motivation. Throughout this journey, she remained deeply connected to her family and friends. Their continued presence reminded her that achievements are most meaningful when shared with those who have supported and believed in us from the beginning. They celebrated her milestones, provided counsel during challenging times, and offered a sense of stability amidst the excitement and attention of public recognition. Their love and support reinforced her values and ensured that she remained humble and grounded. The man who had once doubted her continued to follow her growth, offering occasional advice and mentorship. He acknowledged the lesson she had taught him, that talent, when combined with resilience and authenticity, can defy expectations and surpass preconceived notions. His respect was genuine, and their relationship demonstrated the potential for transformation, even in those who initially underestimate others. He had witnessed her triumph not as a competitor but as a testament to human perseverance and the power of belief,